this is mad, like, but some of my friends, when it happened, like, I didn't hear from any of them, but I heard from people in the hardcore scene nearly every day of the week, like, you know. Is the same flavour all right?
Yeah, man.
People checking in with me, like, people I never met before in my life. Yep. And all of them were showing me so much love as soon as I got the injury, like.
Yeah. So why is that happening?
Because I cracked my skull. Makes you really appreciate it. Big time.
Could you tell me who you are?
I'm Evan Murphy. I'm a Kilkenny man, 21, and love music. That's pretty much me in a nutshell.
If you come into our community and you want to be a part of it and you're not a fucking scumbag, you will be accepted. I think that acceptance is the main difference though. Like, if you go to a gig, people are going to talk to you, people are going to take an interest in you and try and keep you around in the scene. Like, it's a very collective sense. Irish Hardcore is the kind of place where if you don't have €5 or €10 to pay into a gig, you're getting in anyway because you're one of the community, you know, and you'd rather have a gig with those people there than not.
I moved up to Dublin because I was working abroad. I came home from working abroad to no work down in my hometown of Kilkenny, so I had to move up to Dublin because I had no choice really. So growing up in the countryside, it really wasn't an ideal place to be if you like heavy music. Like, I remember in school and in around my village, I used to get an awful slagging for listening to music. Like, they used to think it was weird and just completely abnormal. Like, that definitely drove me to leave. Like, sitting at home having nobody like me or nobody sharing the similar interests as me. Like, so I was like, fuck this, I need to get out. Ended up going to London and got into it even more over there. So when I first moved over to London, I didn't really have anyone to go to gigs with or anything like that. Didn't know anybody. I went and met this guy and we were talking about bands we both liked outside the venue, and just because we had similar tastes in music, we became great friends. And like 10 minutes after talking about music, he turned to me and he was like, there's this band coming over from Boston or New York, not sure where they're from, they're called Incendiary. I ended up going to the gig a week later and it was definitely 100% the best show I've ever had in my life. There's actually a clip of it on YouTube where I'm like crowd surfing. I fall onto the stage, smack my head again off the ground and stand up and my pants is down around my ankles. Like, since I came home, I've just been trying to replace those gigs in London with local gigs here in Dublin, and it's probably the best decision I ever made.
Everybody kind of kicks it back. Like, when you do have it, you pay for a band's shirts just to make sure you can support the band, because the band is just people you're friends with, and you start your own little DIY label or a little promotions company. Doesn't matter if you're not good at any of those things, you just do it because you want shows to happen, you want bands to happen, you want your friends to have this social life, this outlet, like this possibility to all go and hang out. And hardcore is the excuse, you know, it's just a reason to be with your friends, you know, and kind of have this collective experience that nobody else knows about, you know, it's ours.
What would you like say to someone who didn't know anything about hardcore and they see people throwing down and throwing their fists around? They won't get it, like, you know.
No.
So like, why do you do it? Why do you like it?
The reason why I think people love it so much is you have to give it a chance to open your ears up to it. Like, at first it is kind of aggressive, it is a bit much, but you get into it, and when you get into it, it's just the best thing ever. It's it removes so much angst and fucking anger for the world you've built up, and it's the only way to legally get it out of your system, and it's relatively safely too. Like, what happened to me was a freak accident. Rarely heard of somebody getting any more than like a bloody nose or broken tooth or something at a gig. the lyrics being screamed at you or shouted at you seem to come off a lot stronger, and it sticks in your head a whole lot more that way when it's actually being shouted in your face. Like, it makes you understand it, makes you just love the genre, like, you know. And especially when I was so depressed and alone, locked myself in my room, it always made me feel like there was somebody around. Even if it was a guy in a band from the other side of the world, it just made you feel that little bit less alone. I always saw it as a very great way of taking all your negative energy and just throwing it away in the most positive way possible. It's like taking a drug. It gives you a break from reality.
Do you think anyone that wasn't, like, do you think the hardcore scene was the only kind of group or music genre that would show so much love and support after an injury like that?
I think, yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
I do think it's real.
Definitely.
Yeah, because I can't see something like that happen if you're at an ordinary gig or if you're at something else. I just don't think there would have been the same response. Like, plenty of people have said, like nurses and the doctor said, you were very lucky because you could have gone home and you could have gone to bed.
Mm-hmm.
And if something like that did happen, you definitely wouldn't have woke up.
Yeah.
Or if you woke up, you wouldn't have recovered.
I was standing like behind Evan when it happened. He was in the pit. I was sort of on the edge. I saw him go down, and I remember he hit the ground pretty hard. I think his head took a bad knock.
You can do it, man. Give it a go.
I think he was pretty much knocked out before he even hit the ground.
I was down at home in Kilkenny and I got a phone call from the mater to say they brought in, and you were in a cubicle in A&E in casualty, just off casualty. You were in a cubicle on your own, so you were asleep, or kind of, you know, asleep. But when I came in, myself and Jim came in, you woke up, so you were very confused. Didn't know where you were, you didn't know what was going on. Your face was very badly swollen. It was like literally all out one side, completely distorted and out of, just huge at one side. But you were very confused. You were, within about a few minutes of us getting there, then you started to get sick. You had you kind of lying in bed with your clothes on, so I took off your shoes and we took off your trousers off you, and you were lying in the bed and you kept trying to get out of the bed.
And I went from the Mater to Beaumont, and that's where they operated on me straight away. Put me into a coma then for about a week. And I woke up from that then, and yeah, then everyone was just trying to explain to me what happened. I hadn't a clue what happened, didn't remember anything, like. So I just woke up in hospital with tubes in my mouth and shit. And yeah, then I found out I was after getting hit in the mosh pit, an elbow to the head, and all that shit happened from that. It happened so quick. I wasn't really supposed to, like, from what the doctors told me, I wasn't supposed to, like, live through it, like, you know. It was a freak accident, you know what I mean? But it's all over now, pretty much. We're getting there. So I was in hospital for 17 days at first, and it was mad because after the first week, like, I still had pains in the left side of my head and stuff like that, but I never got like migraines or headaches or anything. It was just like a bruised pain, you know. And yeah, so I got moved from Beaumont Hospital back to Mater, where I was first brought in, and yeah, they discharged me then the day my 21st birthday party was supposed to happen. So I could never make that, but yeah, I was home for Christmas. I was up and I was travelling down to Waterford to see friends and all that, so I seemed like I was okay, but all the problems I had were kind of hidden. When I was walking, after a while my left leg would kind of just shut down. I kind of have to drag it along the ground. Now it shakes a lot as well. Like, if I take any weight off my left leg, it just tremors like that non-stop. Processing information in my head was hard at first. Like, if you said something to me, I'd probably have to ask you to repeat it to get it to stay in my head, like. So that was a bit off too, and I was referred out to the National Rehabilitation Hospital. So I was going through physio, speech and language therapy, occupational therapy, and psychology as well. The shaking is all in my head. I just have to kind of, that would just come with time. Like, still haven't got the feeling in my left side of my hand, but I may never get that like ever again. I might just have to accept that. Same with my head. But they done great work in there. They got me back. My legs work. I can walk again properly. Like, so that's a big plus. And the pube as well. The pube, the guy who hit me, has become my best friend since it happened. Like, most people would kind of get hit like that and hate the person, but nah, pube showed too much love when I was in hospital. It was bringing me in joints in hospital and stuff like that. So we became good friends from that, and we've been good friends since. After the gig as well, Nelly reached out to me and he said, look, we'll pay off your hospital bill, which was a huge help for me because I was in hospital for over 10 days, so I moved up to 800 quid. And I was broke at the time. It was just after Christmas. I wasn't getting any disability or any dole or anything like that, no social welfare. So I took the money from Nelly and paid the hospital bill, and it was just a huge weight off my shoulders. And I find it hard to believe that, like, but he really helped out by paying it off. Yeah, made a big difference. Absolutely, I respect him to the ends for that, definitely.
Irish hardcore, to me at this stage, Irish hardcore and Dublin hardcore, it's just a community of people. Like, it might start out as people who go to shows because they love this particular style of heavy music or they love this punk music, but it changes from that. It turns into your friends, your family, your social life. Like, I don't know how many people have been married, for example, because they met at a fucking punk gig, a hardcore gig in Dublin, and 5-10 year relationships exist because of this. Like, you create these bonds with people that you don't even know because you're at a gig together and you're here to see a band that you mutually love. You might have nothing in common with the person beside you in a mosh pit, like, but you're moshing to the same song, or you're singing along to the same song, and you're climbing over each other's heads, and everybody's kind of helping each other enjoy the show in like this like ridiculously aggressive but ridiculously safe way. Like, I feel like any community that's based on if somebody falls on the ground, you immediately pick them up is a good community.
I suffered from a lot of depression and anxiety. Very bad for a good few years, especially when I lived down the country. I used to just lock myself in my room, not move for days. Dodgy as fuck getting down. It's always something I wanted to do was just make music, but it was always so hard to get into it, you know. Yeah. And finding people who were interested, especially where I came from Waterford, like, there's nobody around there that wants to join a hardcore band, like, there was no local gigs. Because no one would come together as a group, like as a collective, like, again, and fucking just have it together, like, you know, and make the best of it. Instead, it was just filled with a lot of shite, like, you know, a lot of drama. I still do every now and then. Just hop on my phone, hop on the notes, write lyrics. It's kind of like a fucking and an easy way to get like your thoughts and emotions out. The only thing I ever turned to really was hardcore. It was kind of the only thing that actually got me out of the room too, and always gave me a bit of a boost at the start of the day to fucking get up and do something about it. Or writing lyrics. It's kind of like you're sharing you're getting your emotions out, you know. It mightn't be to another person, but they're out of your head and they're on a page. And it kind of makes you forget about shit for a while, or makes you feel less alone in a sense, you know. Like, even my mother would say it was like she didn't know me for like 5 years, because I was so all over the place, like, and so fucking stuck in my own head.
We brought over our friends from Dedicate, and he jumped into the mosh pit during, I think it was Bitter Pill. I jumped in, I dragged him out of the mosh pit, and he started laughing. He was almost like sorry, but he wasn't sorry. He's still not sorry. I've seen him moshing since as well. He doesn't care. Fair fucks to him. And thank fuck he's all right, because he's a great lad. Like, he's an absolute legend of a young fella, and I hope he'll be goofy moshing at shows for years to come. You can leave that bit in.
I never felt annoyed at the person who'd done it to me, because I've often hit people in pits and felt so bad about it, like, and you know it's a genuine mistake. You never mean to hurt anyone in the pit, so I never had any bad feelings for the person who'd done it. It was kind of like a blessing in disguise, really. I had quite a tough life for the last couple of years, and I was quite pessimistic about life. You know, after nearly losing my life and having it all taken away from me, it made me take a step back and appreciate things a whole lot more. Like, I've made a lot of good friends out of it too. Had people I never met in my life come and show me so much support that was like overwhelming. And those would be people that I have for the rest of my life. I never plan on getting rid of them.
Feel upset that I go back into music and go to peace?
Yes, of course.
Does it upset you much?
Well, I know there's no point in stopping because I want to do it anyway, so there's no point.
Do you understand my love for the music?
I do, yeah. It goes there, like, obviously, the older you have a head injury, like, you can't, like, turn around and just take things for granted anymore.
I know. It's hard to contain them.
I know it is, but like...
Especially at a live gig.
Yeah, well...
Do you think any good has come from this situation?
Yeah, I think it has.
Like what?
Well, I think just when something like that happens, it makes you realise a few things for everybody, like not just for you, but for everybody. The effect it had on everybody, you know?
Yeah.